It's weird. I'm having issues here. Oops, not yet. Give me a second. All right. Give me a second. That I've never had. All right, everybody. I hope this is working now. Sorry, we had a few technical issues. This is Nicole of the Good Life Refuge, and I have Edison Parker with me from Shinkyu-No Foods. He will show us what we can do with his delicious dumpling products. He has several different kinds of plant-based dumplings. I got to eat some for lunch today because they're easy and quick and they taste great. And I apologize, the little peeping in the background. I have my little babe here with me. Thought you guys might like to see her, him. We don't know yet. Joined us on Tuesday. And so welcome, Edison. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Shinkyu-No company, food company. What do you guys do? And tell us a little bit more about your business and what you do.
So we specialize in handmade dumplings. We and all of our products are handmade. We make the wrappers, we make the fillings. All the dumplings are hand folded, and then we distribute them frozen by the dozen to the local area. We do this with direct delivery. We actually also have a food cart that we got started with back in 2018. And because of when the pandemic shut everything down, all the events were canceled. So we pivoted to begin delivering directly to people's doors, and it really took off. And I think a lot of people really appreciate it. And there's been a lot of good feedback, so that's something that's kind of the new direction that we're trying to grow and build.
So tell us a little bit more. What kind of plant-based dumplings do you have? I know what you have because I have them all, but I think some of our people will be interested to see.
Yeah, so we do, our original one was a spinach and water chestnut. And to this day, we still make that. It's probably our most popular of the plant-based dumplings. I think they're really tasty. Straightforward ingredients. The water chestnuts give a nice crunch. Tons of spinach, lovely umami flavors in there. Highly recommend. We also have a couple of jackfruit dumplings that we do. We've got a 5-spice jackfruit that we'll be cooking today. And we right now have, I believe we have a poke style jackfruit. So that has like a little brown rice in there. And it's kind of like a poke bowl inside a dumpling. And jackfruit is the star of the show. In the wintertime, we might mess around with maybe butternut squash. That's kind of a seasonal thing, but we take a lot of pride in the plant-based dumplings we do, and we're really proud of them and always love it when people take an interest to those ones, because unfortunately vegetables don't always speak for themselves. So we're happy to be making something tasty that is plant-based.
Cool. I have a question from Savannah from the audience. She's asking if you're working on adding anything new to your plant-based flavor options.
As of right now, off the top of my head, I don't have a specific idea in mind for a new plant-based. We love the versatility of jackfruit, so something that is a new recipe and flavor with that might be something we do. Let's see. Yeah, so I guess to answer the question, as of right now, we don't have anything specifically on deck, but there is always room to experiment and come up with some new ideas.
Awesome. Um, so your ingredients, it looks like they're pretty local and wholesome. Can you give us a little information about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we try to use local when we can. We do appreciate staying in the community. For our jackfruit dumplings, the jackfruit isn't necessarily local. It is from a Boulder-based company. I believe it's the Jackfruit Company, and they work directly with farm families in India. I think they work with over 1,000 different farm families to support them and help their product make it over to the U.S. and to the rest of the world. Because I think jackfruit, up until maybe 10 years ago, wasn't kind of on the map the way it is now. You might be able to find some canned jackfruit in an Asian market, but the Jackfruit Company really has put it on the map in a different way. And it's a local company, but they also are making sure to support these local family farms in India, which is pretty cool.
I think so too. Savannah mentioned hatch green chili dumplings might be fun and tasty experiment.
Hatch chili dumplings. That sounds delicious, especially for this area of the country.
I know.
Really big on that.
The green chili is big here. I'll keep watching the chat. So if you guys have any questions for Edison or me, go ahead. And I'm going to get out of the picture now so I can make Edison green and he can start with the cooking.
Excellent. So today, as I mentioned, we're going to be working with the 5-spice jackfruit. I'm just going to grab them out of the freezer real quick. So all of the dumplings we sell by the dozen. They come in a package similar to this. They've got all the proper labeling, allergens, ingredients, and then on the back there's some easy to follow cooking instructions. And I'm going to be following these today for this cooking method. This package is 100% recyclable. You can also think of some creative ways if you want to upcycle it. Doing starter garden plants in it is an option. It's really up to your creativity, or you can just pop it in the recycling. The dumplings also come in this freezer bag here. This is a pretty hefty bag, and if you wash it out, it can get a ton of use. So we do try to be as reusable or as sustainable as we can with the packaging. Dumplings. I've got a pan heating up over here. I recommend either a non-stick or a well-seasoned pan. Otherwise, the dumplings may stick during the cooking process. It's rare. I haven't gotten too much feedback about this, but unfortunately, it does happen if you use a pan that's not appropriate.
So I like to use my iron cast, and it works well with olive oil.
So just a little bit of oil, maybe like a tablespoon worth. I tend to usually use like a big pan like this, but you are welcome to use whichever size pan you have available. You also want to make sure you have a lid that fits. It doesn't need to be like a really tight seal, but you just want it to cover because the dumplings are going to be steamed in here, and you want to keep all that steam in there for the cooking. Fun thing about the dumplings being frozen and having them on hand is that you don't have to cook all 12 of them. You could have 3 of them, 6 of them. You the dumplings could be a meal by themselves if you cook all 12 of them, or 6 if that's your thing. I also sometimes will supplement them into a bigger meal. Say, I love to put together a salad, bunch of veggies, all sorts of things, and then some dumplings on top. In the wintertime, you could do like a soup or a broth. Put the dumplings in there. We're gonna save some for later. The dumplings also come with a couple of our sauces. This is a chili oil that we make. It's pretty straightforward, not too spicy. It's got a nice toasty flavor. Goes good on lots of things, and these bottles are nice because if you don't use it all, you can easily save it for later. This is an umami soy sauce. It's kind of a black vinegar soy. Lots of flavor, great on the dumplings, great for marinades. If you want to use it in a salad dressing, it's also really tasty to have on hand.
My favorite is to mix both of them and then dip the dumplings in there. That's kind of how I like it.
Yep, that's definitely the move. So once you get the dumplings in the pan, this pan wasn't quite as hot as I thought it was, so I'm just going to let them cook. You kind of want to give them a couple minutes just to kind of crisp up the bottom a little bit before you add your water in.
So Edison, when you make the dumpling recipes or the dumpling meals for your cart, what's kind of your favorite combination of, to add to the dumplings to make the meal complete?
So on the cart, my favorite, and it's pretty simple. This is kind of our just standard option during the warmer months and summertime, is we do a hand-cut cabbage slaw. So it's just green and purple cabbage. And we experiment with some other vinaigrettes, but our favorite is a pickled ginger vinaigrette that we make. And it's pretty light. And we find that the refreshing crunch of the cabbage pairs really well with the dumplings. I don't know if I would use the word like heavy, but dumplings, they're kind of doughy, like they can be a little on the heavier side, and the slaw balances them out in a really lovely way. In the wintertime, we do a miso curry sauce that we make over the top, so a little soupy, something to kind of warm you up when it's cold out. So that's what we do on the cart.
Sounds delicious. And personally, what's your favorite to pair them with?
Big fan of the slaw. I also, if I don't have the slaw, I would say either the salad and dumplings or the soup and dumplings. Both are, salad. It's a great way to kind of spruce it up a little bit. And in the soup, I think soup is incredibly satisfying. Just kind of like a light broth soup with some veggies in there. So those are probably my favorites.
So when you say soup, do you kind of prepare the dumplings like you do right now, and then you put them in the soup, or do you have them on the side?
I will prepare them this way, and then I just kind of put them into the soup.
Okay.
I think on my Instagram social media, there's a picture of that. It kind of says recipe ideas. I'm gonna add the water in now. I recommend about 3/4 of a cup to a cup of water. Kind of depends on your pan size, but you just want the water to make it up about halfway on the dumpling. And then lid. And then they're going to need about 10 minutes to cook. Sometimes the veggie ones don't always need a full 10 minutes, but I think just 10 minutes is just kind of a good just easy thing to remember. Maybe like 8 or 9 for the veggie ones. But yeah, so
who taught you to make dumplings? Where did you learn that? And how did you get into the dumpling business?
So I grew up outside of Seattle and ate a lot of dumplings, dumplings in various restaurants, frozen, huge company manufactured dumplings, which aren't, necessarily anything to write home about, but there were always dumplings in my life. And when I came to college at the University of Colorado in 2007, I would buy the wrappers, buy stuff to make filling, just make a big batch of dumplings and freeze them. And this was just a really great thing to have on hand, something that's comforting, easy, it's already ready. It was a real lifesaver. And I continued making dumplings. I kind of taught myself. I would look up, YouTube was thankfully a thing back then, and I would just kind of watch videos of people folding them and began to implement that with my own dumplings and practiced over and over, just kind of making dumplings here and there for the house. And eventually I had the idea that I wanted to do, start my own thing, have a food cart, or at the time I thought I would have a big food truck. And I was wondering what I was going to make, and my friends and family insisted that it be dumplings. Kind of like if you don't do dumplings, you're already messing up. So that's kind of how I got into dumplings.
That's kind of a fun story. And so tell us a little bit so if people go on your website and order the dumplings, how does that work for them? How far do you deliver out? And, where can people get the dumplings? Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, we do, we're located out of Longmont. And we do a 20-mile radius outside of Longmont. So we have delivered down to Lafayette, Louisville. I think there are even parts of Broomfield that are in that radius. Erie, Berthoud, Lyons. I have gone all over the place. Other parts of Weld County, Firestone, Frederick. And that's if you want to do delivery. We also have a pickup option where you'll pick them up at our commissary located at 1515 Main Street here in Longmont. And the pickup, about the deliveries, we do them every Saturday morning, usually between like 9 and 12. So if you place an order at any time throughout the week, it will just sign you up for Saturday morning delivery. For the pickup, we have a window where we are at the commissary for sure on Fridays between 8 and 1 p.m. if you want to come pick up then. But we're also flexible if you reach out and communicate with us to maybe set up another time. If you are running errands in Longmont on a Tuesday afternoon, there's a chance that we can accommodate if we set up a time prior.
Okay, cool. And Savannah wants to know, where can we find your cart? Do you have a schedule where people can see when you're out with the cart at specific locations, or how does that work?
Yeah, so on my website, there is a link there on the front page towards the bottom that says public events, and that will take you to Roaming Hunger, and we have our calendar on there. I think I need to add a couple dates and maybe change some times. So if you're headed there right now, maybe check back in a couple days when we update again. But we're mostly at Spirit Hound Distillery up in Lyons. We do some at Copper Sky here in Longmont, also a distillery. We usually tend to partner with distilleries or breweries or something like that, because they have a power source we can hook into. We're a pretty small operation, so having like a big generator and bringing that out isn't sometimes the most efficient thing. So
Yeah.
out with the cart, you usually find us at a brewery or distillery, or you might see us knocking on your door with some handmade frozen dumplings.
I wouldn't mind that. I'm not always into cooking, I have to say.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just kind of going back to that, what we were doing what I was doing in college, having something that's already made up, easy to cook, comforting. It can be kind of a meal in itself, or you can supplement it in with something else. It's a real lifesaver sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. I've been doing the dumplings not frequently, but they are great for like this lunch when I'm like, oh, I have like 20 minutes. Let's get them ready quick, right?
Yeah, and that's a great, just having them sometimes, that's sort of the thing too, is when people order, it's not always like I'm going to consume all this now and I'll see you again next week or something. Sometimes we don't see people back for a couple weeks maybe, but it's still nice to know that they enjoyed them and that they, I think the dumplings are really living their best life that way.
Yeah, I haven't started with dumplings a lot. We've got them occasionally because my son likes them a lot. But it's hard to find sometimes in stores for me to find plant-based options. So when I stumbled upon your business on Reagan's site, I was looking into like, oh, plant-based, yay, right? Let's try that. And it was so great that it's like, okay, we should have a little feature about that because I cannot rave enough about the taste of it. I'm really convinced and hooked.
And that's awesome. We, as I mentioned, we're super proud of the plant-based ones, and it always is like it's very pleasant and brings a smile when you see people like yourself or somebody who, they think dumplings, they just assume that they're automatically going to be meaty and there's not going to be any veggie options. And so to see the pleasant surprise for people when they do see that there is something, it's always nice. And I also have to say, on the cart, we offer like a half and half. So you can do half of, one kind, half of another. And you might see some meat eater people get like one of our pork dumplings and then spinach water chestnut. And I'd say like 50-50, they come back and they enjoy the spinach ones more than the pork ones. So that's always like an extra victory.
I could see that. The spinach chestnuts are my absolute favorite. I like the jackfruit too, but they're really my favorite. We have another question about the color and the wrap. You have different colors, I noticed.
So I'll just jump right into that. All of our coloring is 100% natural. We do that right in with the dough when we make it, and so the dough is super simple. Without giving away specific ratios, it's just flour, a little bit of salt, water, and then the coloring agent that we use. And the spinach ones, and we use a spirulina powder. Spirulina is a green algae, and it comes in powder form, and it's supposed to be really good for you. People add it into shakes. They just put it in water, mix it up, and it gives the dumplings a really nice, vibrant green color. We also sometimes use a turmeric for yellow. Sometimes they might get a sprinkle on as well. Just we like to use that to help differentiate the dumplings. We don't think that it plays too much into the flavor, but we want the dumplings to be fun, easy to tell apart, and of course, just as natural as they can be.
Cool. I hope, Savannah, that answers your question. If not, comment again.
So our 10-minute timer just went off. We found, so before I get into that, after your 10-minute timer goes off, it's okay to remove the lid. If there is any water still in there, we usually just keep it going just to let the water cook off. You also want to give the bottoms of the dumplings an extra little chance to crisp up again. This is the kind of traditional gyoza style for cooking them. Crispy on the bottom and steamy on the top. We suggest, especially with the meaty ones, if you got those that you cook them to 165 degrees minimum. So if you have a probe thermometer, that works perfectly. We also have found that if you follow this and you cook them for the 10 minutes and all the water cooks off, that's ample amount of time for them to come up to temperature. So fairly straightforward and simple, but if you do have a thermometer, couldn't hurt to just check it out. And I forgot my thermometer is on the cart, so.
But as these are plant-based, it's not quite as necessary to do that, because I think it has something to do with the health, and meat need to be thoroughly cooked in order not to make you sick, right? And like foodborne illness. So that's the beauty about plant-based, in my opinion. There's a lot of things we don't have to worry about, or have to less worry about than when we would prepare meat.
Yeah, absolutely. And the jackfruit is already cooked. So, like you were saying with plants and things, like they cook super quick, and there's much less of a chance of foodborne illness. So these dumplings are perfect. I'm just going to plate them up here. So these are the 5-spice jackfruit. We do a green wrapper with them, and then a little sprinkling of turmeric. So they kind of have a greenish yellow hue to them. And then ideally you want kind of this browning on the bottom, crispy, excellent sign of a perfectly cooked dumpling. For sauces, you whichever method is up to you. You can mix them together. You can dip it. I prefer to just pour a little on there and enjoy.
Well, they look delicious. I would say, if I would not have had some already, I would be really jealous right now. And I have crazy hair. I got all rained on while we were working outside. They look delicious. I love them. I can't say more than, guys, just go and try them, because they've been really some of the best dumplings than I have had. And Savannah is like, she loves your superhero apron.
Oh, nice.
She's asking if you have any other ones that you're wearing once in a while when you're cooking.
Just the Batman one. Batman was he was always a favorite superhero of mine, and my other half got this for Christmas for me one year, so I like to.
That's pretty cool. That is super cool. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I think there are some dumplings that are waiting for Edison now to eat. They look fantastic. They taste fantastic. Guys, if you have a chance, try them out. Support a local business. We always like to show options of plant-based foods that are local. And Longmont kind of can use a few more businesses that offers plant-based. So I'm really excited that I have found you guys. Thank you so much for your time, Edison, and for this wonderful presentation of your Shinkyu-No dumplings.
Shinkyu-No.
Shinkyu-No. I'm trying to get it right. And sorry for all the peeping here. This one should sleep, but she's not. She's like all over the place. The first thing she did was poop on my keyboard. I was like, no. Yeah. And she doesn't like water, no matter what kind of water, right? So that was kind of interesting. We will have this presentation uploaded on our YouTube channel at Good Life Refuge. And you will find it probably on Edison's website as well. So thank you everybody for joining today. Really appreciate it. Wish you a happy 4th tomorrow. Stay safe, everybody, and don't fire up too many crackers. It's like some of our animals are really not happy about that. But yeah, it was wonderful to have you all. Thank you again, Edison, for your time. And
thank you very much for having me.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Cheers.